Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Am's Untitled Podcast. I'm Am. Hi, if you've never met me before, it's really nice to meet you. Thank you for clicking on this Percy Jackson dedicated podcast. So, in today's episode, we're going back to the books and we're talking about the best of Percabeth in the Lightning Thief book. So, if you haven't heard my previous episodes, basically, I've created this series called The Best of Percabeth, and in there, I talk about my favorite Percabeth moments from the TV show. I'm currently doing the first five books. Then I'm going to move on to Heroes of Olympus. And then I'm going to talk about Chalice of the Gods. So, in today's episode, like I mentioned before, is all about the best of Percabeth in the Lightning Thief book. So, basically, I'm just going to give you a rundown of how I'm going to do this. So, I pull quotes, Percabeth moments from the first book and talk about them, basically. Basically, my favourite moments. So the first one that we're going to be talking about is the quote, "He's the one, he must be." And, I swear, like, the moment that they first meet, their fate, like, entire fate is entwined, and basically. And I also think, like, it's the best opening for, like, a slow burn ever. And of course, when I read the books for the first time, like, I'll be honest, like, I was quite young, so I didn't really notice these things. But now, like, going back, like, I've read the books three times now, the first five books three times, and I love it. And, like, every time I read this one line that Annabeth says, I'm just like, wow. It's like Rick Rick is so intelligent. Like, he just basically just gave us the best opening to a slow burn ever. And yeah, that one quote always stands out to me, and I'm just like, yeah, wow, that was like, cue the Percabeth fangirl screaming, which I'm not going to do on the podcast, don't worry. I don't want to deafen anybody who's listening. But yeah, I love that quote. Yeah, it's just they're just beautiful. They're just beautiful together. And I think it's quite ironic that Annabeth says that about him, because it's like she's basically just manifested her future with him in a way. And what I mean by that is, like, she says he must be the one. Like, he's the one. Like, not just as, like, whatever he is to the campers and whatever he's gonna be in the demigod world, but to her, he's about to become everything. And oh, Rick, I love you, I love you, I love you. You're amazing, and he's so clever. Oh my gosh, fangirl! Like, my heart just can't take it. The next quote that we're going to be talking about, quote slash Percabeth moment, is where Percy's in the infirmary and he's, like, sort of in and out of consciousness. And the first thing he hears is, "You drool when you sleep." So in the book, it was quite funny because the quote before is like, Percy thought, like, she was gonna say something like, "Oh my gosh, you're so brave for, like, killing the Minotaur," and the first thing she comes out is, "You drool when you sleep." I love Annabeth. Like, she is such a queen. She is so much like myself. Like, I see a lot of myself in her, and I think that's why she's my favorite character. Like, I would give, like, the exact same reaction. She's so real, she's so raw, and I love it. And I'm glad that she always is keeping him grounded. Like, no matter how hard he goes up the hero ladder, Annabeth is always there to kind of keep his feet on the ground, and I love that. Oh my gosh, she's my favorite. She will always be my favorite. The next moment we're going to talk about is, after Percy has sort of beat up on Clarice, and he's flooded the bathroom, and Annabeth is standing there, and she tells him, like, "I want you on my team for Capture the Flag." And I think from the beginning, like, Annabeth has always known that there's something special about him. Like, she can't quite put her finger on it, but she knows that this kid, there's something about him that is just hard to miss, I guess. I don't know. That moment, like, I didn't pull the quote for that moment, but just the fact that she says that she wants him on her team, like, she she's obviously a daughter of Athena. Like, she's wise. She knows that he can, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's a specific word, and I'm sitting here going, um, what is it? I think it's just maybe that Athenian instinct that she has, and she's just like, yeah, I need him, basically. Oh, Gosh, they're so cute, guys. Honestly, my heart, I can't take it. Too much cuteness going on, and my heart can't handle it. Um, the next scene that I wanted to talk about was really interesting because it's um in the book where they're talking about this quest to retrieve Zeus's master bolt, and Annabeth volunteers to go. Like Percy doesn't necessarily choose her; like she volunteers, and she feel. I think Rick is so clever because the way he's put it is that because of Percy, she's got this opportunity to prove herself. Like this is what she's been waiting for, a quest. You know, she's done everything else to prove that she's one of the best demigod children. She is the pride of Athena's offspring. But she's been waiting. Chiron's been promising her for years that somebody will come who will give you an opportunity to prove yourself. And that's exactly what Percy's done. And, I think one of the reasons why she falls for him, and I've been thinking about this for a really long time, especially when I was planning for these episodes. Like one thing I realized is that he's done so much for her without even realizing it. No wonder like she catches feelings. Like it's hard not to. Like that's the way like I look at it. Like as an adult, like I see these moments and I'm just like, wow, like yeah, I get it. Like I understand why that whole thing, oh, she falls first, but he falls harder. I think that really applies to Percy and Annabeth. Like, she definitely falls for him first. And do you know what? There's not one person that I know that's read this that's not had like a little bit of a crush on Percy. Like, I did as well, because I was just like, oh, how can he be real? Like, how is there a fictional character like him? But again, it goes back to Rick's amazing characterization. Like, oh, he just makes great characters. Like, there is no characters in his stories aside Jason. I don't like Jason, guys. I'm so sorry. We'll talk more about this when we go to the Heroes of Olympus book. For some reason, I don't like Jason. Like, every other character that he's created, I love, but for some reason, don't get along with Jason. But we'll come to that when I do the Heroes of Olympus series. Anyway, went on a Jason tangent. This is not what this episode is not about him. What I mean is like he creates these characters that are so easy to fall in love with, and I think like Annabeth falls for Percy, but he's just an easy person to fall in love with. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I get it. Like I see it, Annabeth, and he's definitely worth the affection, even though he's a bit clueless at times. And I had to put this moment in there. Like I know that this moment is slightly controversial, but when Percy finds out about Annabeth's crush on Luke. Now, I think this is important. Now, I know like a lot of people, like I remember when I was reading the books, like a lot of people found it quite controversial because of the age gap and things. And I think I talked about this quite early on in the podcast. To be honest, I'm glad that Rick put that in there. Now, I know like somebody's going to savage me for saying that, but it makes sense. Like up until now, Luke is the only person who Annabeth has trusted. He has protected her. He gave her like the closest thing to her family that she's ever felt. Like I understand why she has feelings for him. Like I get it. Like it would happen to one of us as well. Like let's be honest. Like if we were put in a situation, life or death, this one person who's constantly cares about you, looks at your well-being, protects you, puts you first. Like I understand why these feelings come in, and I'm so happy that Rick put it in there because that crush becomes so problematic for the Percabeth relationship later on, and that I think that's so important. Like I'm glad that Rick has never made it easy for them because feelings aren't easy. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like she can have feelings for two people at the same time. It happens. It happens in real life. It's very realistic. That's what I love about his writing. It's very real. It's very raw, and yeah, I can see why. I can see why she has feelings for Luke, but then she realizes that in fact Percy's the right person for her. Like he is everything that she didn't think that she wanted, I guess. And I love that about them. And I'm glad that they end up together, Percy and Annabeth. Like I shipped them from when I got old enough to understand what was going on. I've always shipped them, and I'm like, yeah, they're cute. Like I want to see them get together, and I'm so excited for these new books because Rick, I just want to see them have a future together. Like I want to see them get married. I want to see them have kids. Like I just think it would be like honestly the cutest thing ever. Like I'll be upset when the series comes to an end, but I'd be so happy as well because they would have got the ending that they deserved. I guess they've been through a lot like together, and we're going to talk about that in this series. And they really do have a bond that is irreplaceable, at least in my eyes. Anyway, I think that kind of bond comes one in a million, and Rick has just written probably the greatest slow burn that I've ever read. Like, I don't read romance. Like, normally I find it quite like cringy, but when it comes to these two, I'm just like, yeah, they're just soulmates, soulmates, guys, soulmates. They're cute. The next scene that we're going to be talking about, sorry, I rambled on a bit about this crush thing, but like I said, it's very important for the books. And like I said, it's going to cause a lot of Percabeth tension. So we have to acknowledge the fact that Annabeth had a crush on Luke. The next bit that we're going to be talking about is where Annabeth tells him um, that they have to be rivals because their parents are rivals. Now, I thought that was a cheeky little hint to Heroes of Olympus, although I don't know if I would just like pulled that out of nowhere because, of course, Heroes of Olympus was written after Percy Jackson. Well, after the first 5 books. So, yeah, I don't know if Rick had planned that hint or if it just by coincidence is in there. And of course, like, if you don't know, Poseidon and Athena, they've had a little bit of a headlock, you could say. The fought over being the patron of a city, and of course people chose Athena and Poseidon didn't like it, and then to get revenge Poseidon decided to take Medusa, one of his girlfriends, into an Athenian temple and get frisky with her. So yeah, I can kind of see why Annabeth thinks that they shouldn't be friends, but I think it's just funny because like I'm just glad that they don't let their parents' rivalry interfere in their relationship later on. Like, at the beginning, it kind of causes a problem, but like later on, it doesn't really matter. I think they get to a point where they don't care about their parents. Like, their parents are going to be around forever. They're not going to be around forever, and they should just do what they want. And I agree with that. I think it's great. Sounds a bit passive aggressive. Guys, let me know. Was that a little bit passive aggressive? I don't know. Whatever. I just think that they shouldn't care. Like, their parents' differences aside, like, they make a cute couple. So they can go. And to be honest, I don't think Poseidon necessarily has such a problem with Percy being with Annabeth. Like, I don't think it's ever come up in the books that he has an issue. It's just Athena who's a Percabeth hater. God, she'll get over it. She'll get over it. Once she realizes how serious Annabeth is about him, she'll get over it. The next scene that we're going to be talking about is, where Annabeth opens up to Percy about, her dad, her stepfamily, the issues that she's had with her stepmom. And I think from the beginning, Rick has been nurturing this idea that Percy makes her feel very safe. Like, she feels like she can be vulnerable around him. Like, she doesn't have to fake it around him. And there's not many relationships that I've read that are like that. And, it, this is what I mean. Like, they just have these moments that are just, what do you call them? Like, I'm sorry, there's probably a specific word for it that it's not coming to mind. But, like, it's just, Percy and Annabeth haven't known each other that long. At this point, they've probably known each other a few days, but she's already feeling confident enough to confide in him, I guess, about her worries and things. And I love that. Like, sometimes you just feel that connection to somebody. Like, sometimes you just meet someone. They don't have to be like a significant other, and just feel this bond and this comfort where you just feel like you can tell them anything without being judged. And I think from the beginning, like, Percy and Annabeth have had such a solid friendship. Like, they have that. They can talk to each other about these difficult things that they don't feel like they can share with anybody else. And I think that's what a relationship is based on. Trust, Can you confide in that person? Yeah, she can. And I think, yeah, they're just Rick is so good. I don't know how he does it. Like, I can't describe it, guys. Like, it's just things like that. Like, of course, like, if you're a younger reader, like, you overlook details like that. But for me, like, when I was specifically searching for these Percabeth moments, I was just like, wow, that's just, yeah. He makes their relationship very realistic. Like, there's nothing like that ever happens in their relationship that I think is like unreasonable. I guess, like, I know that they're in like this fictional world where they're in situations like facing a minotaur, facing the mother of monsters, like things like that don't happen in real life. But the main foundation of their relationship is built like any normal relationship in our world would be. So yeah, I think Rick is super clever, super clever in these moments that he's created. The next scene that we're going to be talking about is, when Percy and Annabeth are in the underworld, and they're on the boat that transports the souls across the river Styx. So Charon's boat, basically. And I pulled the quote as well just to prove this point. And Percy says, "Annabeth grabbed hold of my hand," and the reason why Annabeth does that is she does it for reassurance. So when she feels like she's a little bit overwhelmed, she tends to grab your hand or like grip your arm just to like make sure that she's safe, I guess. And the fact that she does that, like she wanted to know that she was safe, like in this world where the souls are like dead basically. She wanted to make sure that there was still somebody with her. And I'm glad that Percy is that safe place. And she could have reached for Grover's hand, like he was there as well, but she didn't. She went straight for Percy's hand. And yeah, it's just the beginning of something beautiful. Guys, like the more I deep dove into this book, the more quotes I found. And I really had to be strict with myself because I didn't want these episodes to be really long. So I really had to try and narrow it down, but I couldn't leave that moment out. I thought that it was such an important moment. And it shows such like an evolution in their relationship as well. Like they've gone from being rivals, strangers, to sort of like acquaintances, and like to the point where she views Percy as a friend, where she feels safe enough to grab his hand for comfort, I guess. Yeah, that was a big moment. Like I did a little Percabeth squeal when I read that, but I didn't want to put that on the recording. Somebody while we're reading this and like listening in and just being like, this girl is crazy. Like she's actually crazy. But yeah, I love it. Like I said, I'm a diehard shipper. Like from the beginning, I always wanted them to be together, and now that they finally are, I'm just like, yes. The next scene we're going to talk about is the scene just before Percy's fight with Ares, where Annabeth gives him her camp necklace for good luck. And I think this is such a big moment in their relationship. Like, it's very simple in the books. Like, it's not this big moment in the books, but it just shows Percy that, she does truly believe in him and that she trusts him. She's giving away the only piece of her dad, the only thing that connects her to her dad, to him. And I don't think Percy even realizes like how big of a gesture that is. And I just, oh my gosh, I was just like when I read that, I was like, wow. I was like, this girl, she's fallen hard. Like, you know, um I don't know if you guys know this. If you have not read Heroes of Olympus, but there's one moment where Annabeth admits that she's had feelings for Percy since they were 12. And I think this was one of those moments where she realized like that she likes him, because it's just I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's no words. Like, no matter how many notes I make, what quotes I pulled, like, when it comes to them, like, I just get speechless because I'm just like, wow, Rick really knows how to play with my heartstrings. I'm just telling you, like, sometimes, like, I feel like the tug in my heart, and I'm just like, oh, gosh, they're so cute. Yeah, and I thought her giving that necklace to him with her dad's college ring was so special. And yeah, it does give him luck, I guess. I think Annabeth believing in him is the most important thing. Like, I think everybody else, I don't think he's so bothered. But when it comes to Annabeth, I think he really does seek her approval. And I love that. That's so cute. The next one of the last moments that we're going to be talking about is where, of course, after Percy gets attacked by the scorpion because of Luke, and they're sat in the infirmary, and basically Annabeth just refuses to believe that Luke is going to do, like, Luke did something so evil. And like instantly Percy is like getting defensive, like it just bothers the hell out of him. It's like, how he nearly killed me, and this girl is like not believing what's going on, and she wasn't there, like, so she didn't see it with her own eyes. And like I said, this crush thing, these feelings are just gonna keep coming to the surface and bubbling over. And I think I like that it causes problems in the Percy Beth relationship. Like, as much as it hurts me like a little bit, like it makes sense because, like I said, it's very real. Like, Annabeth had feelings for somebody else before she met Percy. And Luke is someone she's known most of her life. Like, why would he hurt somebody that she cares about? Percy, of course. Yeah, I just thought that was important Percy Beth moment to stick in there. Just because, like, it's an ongoing theme in the books, and we'll talk more about that as we delve more into the books. We'll talk more about that. Final Percabeth moment that we're going to be talking about in this book, which stood out to me, which was the scene where Annabeth tells Percy that when she comes back to camp, so basically she's going to live with her dad for a while. I think is it with her dad? I can't remember. Oh my god, I should know this. I've read the book 3 times. Like I should know. And she tells him that when I get back, we're gonna find Luke and we're gonna go on another quest together. Oh, guys, I really do believe that they're soulmates. I don't normally believe in cringy stuff like that, but honestly, I'm glad that she just wants to. I'm glad that she makes him like a promise in a way. Like, when I come back, like, we're gonna find Luke, but then we can also go on another quest together. I think that they're just, they're so wholesome. Like, how can somebody not love them? Like, I don't see it. Like, I keep trying to get my friend, because she's a huge romance lover, I keep trying to get her into these books. I was like, you're gonna melt like I do. Like, she honestly can't believe that I give these reactions to Percabeth. Like, she's like, I just don't expect that off you because you're not a romantic person. I goes, exactly. I goes, they tug at my heartstrings even though I'm not a romantic person. So somebody like you who's like a diehard romance lover, because you're gonna have a heart attack. So yeah, I keep trying to persuade her to read it. And I said, look, I've got the books. Like, you can borrow them from me and read them. And I goes, like, if you want to, like, we can read it together. And she goes, oh, okay. Although I don't know how well that's going to go, because I get really excited when I read the books. Like, I remember when I reread them for this podcast, like, I binged each book in 2 days. So, yeah, I don't know how good I'm going to be. I will restrain myself. For her sake, I will restrain myself. It will kill me, but I'll restrain myself. Anyway, I'm sorry, went on a tangent there. So those were the best Percabeth moments in the Lightning Thief book, which is the first book in the Percy Jackson book series. So let's just end this off by talking about my final thoughts regarding these moments. So of course, I'm going to say it is the best opening to a slow burn ever. Rick gives you so much, but so little at the same time. Like, he just makes the perfect balance of moments, and I love that. Um, I love that we get to see the evolution from rivals to acquaintances to friends. And in just one book, they've made a lot of progress. And I love that. Like, it's slow, but it's not really slow. Like, it's slow just enough to keep you satisfied slow. And I love that. Rick is planting the seeds of something very beautiful, guys. And I am living for it. Like, do you know how much fun I've had looking for these personal moments? Like, not only in the TV show, in the books, in Heroes of Olympus, in Chalice of the Gods. Like, I've been living for it. Like, I really enjoyed those 3 weeks where I was just hunting for these moments, because they're just amazing. And, you know, I'm so happy that I've come across a story like Percabeth. Like, if anything's gonna make you believe in love, it's those two, because they are chef's kiss perfection. The last thing that I'm sort of gonna say is that I've mentioned this a few times, but I'm just gonna quickly reiterate it. Is that Rick gives us these special moments, but in such a discreet manner. So it's not explicit, and it's not explicitly stated, but the more you read into it and just live it, it's just and sometimes, like, I noticed, like I said earlier on, like, I overlooked a lot of details like growing up, but I'm just like, wow. Yeah, yeah, I love them. They're great, and I can't wait to talk about their moments, because their moments just get better and better in each book. So yeah. And I will be talking about Annabeth falling first a lot more, and of course Percy's dense nature as well. I was talking about that as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening in. I really appreciate it. Let me know what your favorite Percabeth moment is in the Lightning Thief book. Feel free to quote it. Send it to me on Instagram, on Threads. Where else can you send it to me? You can email it to me. You can DM me. Just I would love to hear what everybody's favorite moments are, because I can't possibly pick one, because there's just too many. And I love them too much, and just yeah, they're just phenomenal. I just want to say, like, a huge thank you to Rick for bringing such a beautiful relationship to life. And he said that it's really inspired by him and his wife's relationship, Becky. So I hope that their love stays like that, because It was beautiful. Honestly, just beautiful. And in the next episode, we're going to be talking about the best of Percabeth in the Sea of Monsters book, which I'm so excited for because Siren Bay is one of my favorite Percabeth scenes, and I cannot wait to share my thoughts and feelings regarding it with you guys really soon. So thank you guys so much for listening in. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Spotify as well. Follow me on Instagram. It's at Aamsuntitledpodcast, and I always let you guys know when episodes are available to stream. And I will speak to you guys in the next episode. Mwah. Bye.